Dr. Tyler, the protocol, the results that I've had from it, it's given me so much confidence and optimism with my situation, because for a long time there, I was really questioning like what my quality of life was going to be from here forward. Hi, my name is Sylvia. I live in Longwood, Florida, and I am in sales, working fully remote from home, and my age is 30 years old. So back in 2018, I had two slip and falls at the restaurant that I was working at, and that kind of kickstarted a several year process of chronic pain that presented itself kind of as like a double sciatica. And sometimes I would go several months of kind of like a flare up, and then a couple months or a couple weeks of a good period. And it was just very up and down like that over a 7, 8 year period, to the point where I finally did consult with a rheumatologist and found out I've got an autoimmune condition called ankylosing spondylitis. Basically runaway inflammation in the body that doesn't know how to shut itself off, which could also result in fusing of the vertebrae in the spine or fusing in the SI joints of the hips. So once I got that diagnosis and kind of had an idea of what I was dealing with after several years of trying to self-manage and not having any luck with it, I had known about Dr. Tyler Panzner for a couple years at that point, listened to podcasts over the years, kind of got an idea of what he was about, just never took the plunge. But once I got that diagnosis of the autoimmune condition, that's when I really decided to, just really do whatever I could to start feeling better. And that's ultimately what got me started with Dr. Tyler. After getting the breakdown of my genetic report and my DNA from Dr. Tyler, it was kind of eye-opening. At the same time, it was something that I kind of already knew, where it's like everybody's an individual, right? Everybody's got their own DNA. It makes a whole lot of sense when you actually have the results in front of you in terms of what genetic mutations you might have and what symptomatic pathways that those might influence. It completely changed my perspective on it, because now, like, before I try any new supplement, I'm referencing the notes that Dr. Tyler had for me from my genetic report. So January of 2025 that I got the ankylosing spondylitis diagnosis. Around that same time, I started a pharmaceutical anti-inflammatory and a muscle relaxer to help with those symptoms. Those kind of got me out of the peak of the flare up in January. Like it was to a point where I was using a cane to walk around the house for a couple weeks because the pain was so bad that I just couldn't put weight on either leg. Being in sales, I do a lot of conferences. I had a couple of those and I was just absolutely miserable throughout those conferences. And it was just exhausting. But the craziest thing was I had gotten back from one of those conferences completely miserable. I was in pain the whole time. The weekend following that work trip, I had received all of the supplements from Dr. Tyler's protocol. So I had started them. And the following Monday, I had another work trip to go to. And so I really only had like 2 or 3 days of starting with these supplements. And by that third day, when I was leaving for that trip, I just felt a little bit lighter, a little bit springier. And of course, at that point, I'm just like, okay, I'm just excited, right? It's just giving me some good adrenaline, that I'm starting something new. But then over the course of that work trip, it felt like I was walking on a cloud the whole time. It was insane. I was setting like 7, 8 year personal records for the amount of steps that I was taking in a day, in a week. And I was going to sleep and waking up the next day feeling good enough where my thought process was like, okay, let's do it again. Like, let's see what I can do today. I was still stiff. I was still sore. I definitely still have some range of motion issues that I've just developed over the years from just not moving that well. But this trip did not debilitate me like all the others did before it, to the point where when I was getting off the airplane at home, I thought to myself, like, okay, well, if this is what travel can be like now, where do I want to go next? And the really cool part too is that, having done a lot of blood work since I started working with the rheumatologist, a round of blood work for Dr. Tyler, is that my inflammation markers in my blood have dropped off like almost 90%. The main reason I would recommend anybody do it, even if they're perfectly healthy or they seem perfectly healthy or they're non-symptomatic, is that, again, people make dietary choices and supplement choices based on a whim. It may be the exact wrong advice to take, or it could be something that will be completely ineffective. That's what I feel is the biggest value of this, is the individualized, hyper individualized aspect of looking at your DNA. Like, you were born with it, it's not changing. If you'd ask anybody, they want longevity, they want health, they want to feel good, they may just not get the results that they want if they were being as specific and as tailored as a DNA and genetically minded approach would have. Like, you're not going to get more specific to you than that.